Hi Cancer, this is your March 2020 reading. So if you are a Cancer sun, rising or moon, it may resonate as a general reading. Please do make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop me a like and a comment if it's resonating for you. And if you would like to connect with me, you can find all of the ways to do that over on my website, romywyser.com.
Okay, Cancer, let's see what the conversation is for March for you. I think this month is going to feel incredibly complex. You know, the last few weeks in February and in our last reading, we talked about how you were needing this kind of detached time for yourself to really work through some stuff. And I think that, you know, as we come into March, so much of that has really landed for you. And you're ready to move away from any sort of energy, any kind of connection. Remember, we've been working a lot with 7th house for you, that house of key partnerships, important people in your life. And, you know, I think there's come this powerful recognition from you that that feeling of loss that has perhaps sat around your energy for way longer than it needed to be, way longer than it should have, you're finally ready to release. You're ready to move into something that is a better fit for you now as you are embarking and feeling your way into what this year is about. Now, we're in Pisces season, which is 9th house for you, and it is a time for you to start to feel more optimistic. But we have retrograde around us at the moment. In Pisces just now, it dips into Aquarius before it goes direct again on the 10th. Now, with this retrograde, it has the power to kind of unsettle or destabilize so much of the inner work that you've been doing. And I think when we open up with this 5 of Pentacles, there is a message that comes through is be careful not to attach yourself to like an old identity, Cancer. That's what I want to say, because you have done so much work, you have come so far. If you're not careful, you know, particularly in that first couple of weeks in March, there's that tendency to want to get pulled back into something. And it's going to feel so uncomfortable. That's what I'm going to say to you. It's going to feel so uncomfortable. You're going to recognize pretty quickly yourself that it's not a place that you want to be anymore. And I think that you're determined to be able to, you know, take the lesson and take the blessing of whatever it is that you've been through and really put your best foot forward now. You know, feelings of that isolation, feelings of that sense of loss, can be the projected energy that we do have the power and the control to dissipate. We do have the choice to think differently, to put ourselves in a different energy mindset. And I think as soon as you do that, and I do honestly feel that through this month of March, Cancer, you're going to have these moments where all of a sudden you're going to be like, I just don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to go into that feeling or that energy. I'm bored of it. I'm tired of it. It has nothing more to teach me. It has nothing more to offer me. So what would happen if I started to believe something different? What would happen if I was more consistently applying everything that I've learned, everything that I know? Could I do that for the first time in a completely new way? And I think that's the kind of building of this new level of self-trust that you're going to have with yourself through this month of March. We have the World card coming in, totally bringing a point of completion to the journey that has felt challenging and arduous. Now, the World is of course ruled by Saturn, and this month we have the major shift of Saturn moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. In Capricorn, the last couple of years, it has been heavy energy in your key relationships. This month you're set to see how far you've come and what you've learned. Maybe there's a little whiplash energy that's around that's just going to kind of pull you up short if you try to go back into any of that kind of 5 of Pentacles mindset. So be prepared for that. But take it, you know, take the tough love, because you have moved forward and you're quickly going to right yourself. You're quickly going to get back on the right path. And there's so much coming in to look forward to. And, you know, Pisces season is that very visionary and exciting time for you to start to feel more optimistic about what comes next. You know, this is a time when you are highly creative. And when you combine that creativity, that vision, that inspiration with new levels of self-trust, wow, Cancer, that's when things are really going to start to move and shift for you, not only in your relationships, but also in the things that you've maybe been holding back because you've been so caught up in a particular drama or a long drawn out situation that you're ready to just let go of now. But you know, this element of, I mean, the fives bring in challenge, right? They do, but the challenge and the contrast are almost like your kind of bouncing off point. It's like you're using, see what I see happening with this world in between the two fives is you're absolutely using the energy of what these fives represent to you right now. So anything that has felt difficult, uncomfortable, a sense of loss, where you've had to grieve or mourn or let go, or disappointments haven't, allowed you to feel optimistic about what's to come. It's all like you, all of a sudden, something's happening in March where you're taking that energy, you're transmuting it, and you're using it to your advantage. And this, in some instances, is really where you start to see where you can join the dots, because then you're going to realize something within yourself. You're going to come to that powerful point that says, you know what, without having gone through that journey, I never would have found this strength. I never would have got so pissed off. I never would have found the energy or the drive or the wherewithal to just say enough. I am sick of being in this energy. I need something different. I need something better for myself, and I'm going to go get it. And this is where we start to see more of that beautiful, ambitious side of Cancer coming through. And I think that you need to be unashamed in that, Cancer. Often people will kind of label you as that sweet, nurturing, loving, and of course you're all of those things, but you have this powerful drive, your cardinal energy, this powerful, determined, ambitious outlook on life. And when you reach the point of just drawing a line and saying enough is enough, which is what I see happening here, and you turn that to your advantage, then you're going to make massive strides forward. There we have Ace of Wands. You're ready for that new beginning. You're ready to harness something. You have some really good ideas coming in March, Cancer. So if this is about your life plan, a new strategy, something that's going on at work, what you want to do with your business, where you see yourself in terms of relationships and connections, I think through Pisces season, you're absolutely being given some very dynamic energy to work with. What you choose to do with that, of course, is down to your free will, but I'm seeing that you are moving away from anything that feels like doubt to you, moving away from anything that says you shouldn't have this or you're not worthy of this, and just saying, screw that, I'm taking it. I'm taking what's rightfully mine. I've done the work, I've changed, I'm ready for something different and something better. And you are going to get a real surge of energy when that comes in. Now on the 5th, Venus is moving into Taurus, which is your 11th house, very sociable, very connected. So I think you're going to be ready to start to merge and sort of reconnect with people, but on your terms. That's what it feels like, Cancer. This is a month where everything is going to be on your terms. You're going to be very protective, very aware of your energy. You're looking at the possibilities of things, being quite discerning with it, not putting up with anything that shows any kind of indication of these type of energies. Anyone that comes to try to be part of Cancerian world and hasn't done the work on themselves and is repeatedly trying to drag you back into something that is unhealthy for you, I think you're going to be showing them the door pretty quickly. So we have full moon in Virgo happening on the 9th in your 5th house, which again, activating the sense of creativity, focus in and around that. How can I invite more romance into my world? Now, Virgo is a very healing moon, it's the healer. And this energy, of course, means that we need to have a release. So anything that comes up around that point that's illuminated, that might feel a little bit painful, I'm going to say is really necessary and part of the process of shedding. So don't skip it. Don't try to avoid it or think, no, I've already done that work, I need to be elsewhere. Because if there's something coming up, it's because it wants to be acknowledged, and it wants to be cleared out so that you can make space for this new beginning, okay? But we also have it beneath the world, so there's a completion energy taking place. And actually, if you look at this, you know, we have some tough energies surrounding that world and Ace of Wands, but they are jumping out for me. So this is about the coming to an end of something that has caused you over time some real heartache. I think it's you've had to dig deep time and time and time again to face something or deal with something, whatever that represents to you, you know, whether it's a sense of loss or feeling isolated, or whether it's a relationship situation that has dragged out, you know, whether it's something in and around work or family that just hasn't come together. You know, we are in this month of March shifting into really amazing new energy. We have the equinox coming in on the 20th when we hit Aries season, which is your 10th house, an incredibly ambitious placement for you, I might add, and really activating that Ace of Wands. But you're not going to be able to fully harness it until you allow all of this narrative to go. So I see this as really cathartic. I see it as incredibly important. So when it comes up, I don't want you to feel you know, that kind of sense of dismay or, oh God, I'm getting pulled back. Remember, in retrograde season, there's still that kind of illusionary, things are not quite what they seem. So situations that might feel very real and very kind of in your face, actually, when the haze clears a little bit and we move direct on the 16th, you are going to come to an understanding that actually it was just almost like a kind of quick dip back into an energy. It's not that full-blown sense of like I've got to repeat the cycle again, okay? Let tears flow if they come, okay? I mean, there's definitely some tears coming through in this reading, but again, I feel they're really cleansing, really clearing. And you know, there's a difference. We have different kind of tears, don't we? You can have those kind of heartbreak tears, and you can have that general just healing tears. And that's what I feel is coming through. They're very healing, because I think you're finally putting yourself first. You're finally building a sense of trust in who you are, what you can do, and what you're worthy of, Cancer. And what comes with that is the need to recognize perhaps some sabotaging sort of tendencies or ways of doing things or thinking, or what you've put up with. That's what I kind of feel. To a certain extent, that heartbreak could be representative of things that you've put up with for so long that you know haven't been good for you, and you're finally ready to let them go. And in that, there is this recognition of like, why would I put myself through that? Why did I do that? But it's fine, you know, you took so much from that experience. There's so much learning that came from it, but now you're ready for different. So we have Page of Swords coming through. Could be an air sign that you're dealing with, perhaps with some of these themes that are showing up, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. But I also feel this is about you feeling a bit more curious and interested to see, okay, I've learned, I understand, what's next. You know, when Saturn moves into Aquarius, it's going to be your 8th house, so powerful transformational energy. You'll start to get a little bit of a peek about what kind of things you're going to be dealing with during the next couple of years in this transit. Very detached sign though, Aquarius, so it'll be an interesting kind of awareness that comes to you, I think, about where you want to allow that metamorphosis to take place. And for me, the Page of Swords is bringing through again this lovely sense of connection and communication. So I do feel you're ready to talk about how you feel, to talk about what's going on for you. And maybe for some of you, it might be quite healing actually to share that. You know, I have a sense of some of you kind of sharing your story, or being able to kind of show others what you've been through, and you know, how it's transformed you, because that's going to help other people. So I think there's something that's going to be really supportive for you in the communication, and some of you may need to reach out in that way to find other groups, other connections, other people, kind of that soul family energy, where you can talk about what you have gone through. I also have a sense of like writing being really important as well. So perhaps for some of you, you'll need to just allow some of those emotions to come out through journaling, through just automatic writing. Anything like that's going to be really supportive. But I like that Page of Swords because she's also wielding that sword to kind of cut through. You know, these sword energies are really getting to the heart of something. And I think that's within you, Cancer. You're getting to the heart of what the real issue has been for you, what the real root cause of what the impact of so many other things in your life has been. And maybe that's because you've been in a state of avoidance, or you haven't really fully understood what was at the root of it. But I think that March is really showing that to you. But you're coming out really strong in the understanding. You're facing it and you're ready to let it flow. Remember, with that Five of Cups, we still have these beautiful cups standing, still waiting to come in. And then we move into that Ace of Wands energy for you. I do have a sense of people around you kind of wanting a piece of you, wanting to get near you, wanting to be a part of, what you're doing, what you have to say. And again, I think there is this sense of you being a little bit more careful about the type of energy that you allow to work with you. I think that's going to be really important. Hanged Man energy coming through, I think is important really in the reflection of what we've talked about, because you do need to give yourself some time and space to be able to allow some of these emotional waves to work their way through. Of course, in Pisces season, we have very Neptunian energy, which is linked powerfully into the card of the Hanged Man. You are in that self-imposed sacrifice right now. You are surrendering, and perhaps for some of you it's a new feeling to really surrender, to really let go, to really say, okay, I've been fighting and it hasn't worked, so if I'm going to do something different this month, if I'm going to try a completely new approach, what do I have to do? And I think for some of you, you are just literally going to let go. But I think you're also letting go of some of this heavier energy, and perhaps that's going to attribute to specific people as well. There's just a recognition that, okay, this isn't going to work, or I need more time out from this situation. If you are feeling a little bit lost and in limbo with regards to the actions of others or where you stand in a particular situation, I think we do need to wait till that retrograde energy clears out. I think once we're into the latter part of March, fully into Aries season, there's much more opening up in terms of communication. It is set to come, but I actually feel that once we move into that transit, you're much more focused on other things. And then when that renewal energy comes through with Ace of Cups, the positive is that you're in a much more balanced, grounded place to be able to receive the energy and to be able to contemplate if it's right for you. Okay, so the way that the universe is working with things, you almost need to be kind of held back so that perhaps other people are doing the work that they have to do on themselves, so that when you have that moment of coming back together, it can be in a much more balanced way. Equinox energy absolutely going to help support that. I think Ace of Cups though as well is talking about, for me, this rebuilding of trust that you have with yourself, Cancer, and I really pick that up as a strong theme for you in March. You've got two ace energies coming through, which is beautiful to really allow this month to feel like a bit of a new beginning for you, to feel a freshness of the energy. But it's like showing yourself that you are worth the investment. And perhaps I think some of you are calling back energy from lots of different things, maybe family members or businesses or other relationships where you've just felt drained, and it's come at the cost of you in some regard. It's really taken its price on you. And there is this understanding now that says, okay, I need to kind of put myself first right now, and allow that self-renewal to take place. I need to fall back in love with who I am and what my life is at this moment in time. I need to look around at the things that I still have that are really positive in my life and work with the energy of that, rather than sinking back into anything that feels representative of more difficult, challenging, going nowhere kind of energy. And I think you're going to have that breakthrough, and you're going to be really determined. You've got a beautiful kind of lotus flower moment happening where you're becoming unstuck. So I actually really like that. If the Hanged Man represents you feeling still a little bit stuck with something, as we move through to that ace, you're starting to come into bloom powerfully. I think Aries season, with that 10th house, as you consider the long-term plan, what you want to bring to this next cycle. And again, we talk about the rebuilding of this sense of trust. Now, not only in yourself, but this could well be with other people as well, or with things that you're working on. Because sometimes if you've been maybe doing a job for some time, or really focused on a passion or a particular business idea, and it hasn't delivered and it hasn't delivered, and you've just kind of fallen out of love with it, you just no longer trust it has what it takes to be able to deliver for you. So first of all, we have to work on oneself, and that level of I can believe in myself enough to give myself permission to then allow myself to build trust with that particular person or business or thing once again. So Seven of Swords for me, very much starting with you, and then it's how you allow that rippling effect of that new sense of self and how it's going to impact things around you. And I think that's going to be the game changer for you this month, Cancer. I really think you're going to see a big, strong shift in your energy and in how things start to transform for you through this month of March, when you realize that perhaps where you have deceived yourself and just not believing something, or not holding yourself accountable, or not allowing yourself to be the success or to have the love or to experience the health that you're deserved of. Wow, okay, self-love, yeah, so this is the theme, this is what we're working with, and this is the connection between you and your inner child, between you and your higher self. And look at the aura that surrounds her, the energy that's coming through from you when you come into this place of resonance with that idea, and you start to embody what self-love is really about. And it's not just those rituals of having a nice bath and 10 minutes of a meditation. It's about the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you pour that sense of devotion to your own selves, the way that you hold your energy, the decisions and choices that you make each and every day that support what is for your best and highest good and keeps you balanced in a place where you can prioritize your own peace. And sometimes those decisions can be really difficult, can't they? Because it means cutting people out, or stepping back, or stopping any kind of addictive tendencies that have been a comfort blanket. But that comfort blanket has been removed, and so we're having to build up powerful new supportive foundations and platforms. And you are going to do that through this month of March, because you know what's on the other side of it. I think you're getting a sensation of the energy starting to feel really differently, and that 9th house is giving you the sense of optimism through Pisces season with which to do that. So your whole idea of self-love is going through a radical transformation, and I think that you are going to be leading by example to so many with the way that you hold yourself through this month, and the way that you decide to just respond so differently to anything that you have in the past. Okay, you have Peregrine Falcon coming through as your animal card. I love the figure here as she's just touching the third eye of that falcon. Observation. I think this is you observing the patterns that you have in place, observing the way that you have come into contact with people over the last few weeks, and how it's changed you, how it's triggered you. This beautiful golden energy for me linking into your solar plexus, where you reclaim your power, where you reclaim that sense of self, where you feel far more grounded and energized. And I like that actually, because we have a lot of blue coming through in the reading. There's a lot of water energy in Pisces season that could feel, from an emotional level, it's just taking you into those deep depths. And so this charge of energy coming through, which I feel is going to be very much felt through Aries season, is so beautiful. The sense of getting a higher perspective, very 9th house, right? Looking at the big vision, the big picture, wanting to take the wisdom, wanting to take the learning, being open to that, coming into a moment of divinity almost, where you touch the energy of this powerful connection to source, and it really changes you. I think some of you are set to have some incredible kind of moments of almost like psychic awareness, perhaps the flash of a vision happening this month, or just come into contact with somebody who represents an energy that feels so otherworldly for you that it's really going to touch your heart in a way and help you to see yourself from a very different perspective. Okay, Cancer, I hope this has given you some insight for the month of March. If it has, please do drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we're going to go ahead now and pull some cards for the clarifier reading. If you'd like to join me, it's another 20 minutes. You can find the link for the description in the description box below. I'm also doing this month, I just want you to think about a specific question that you might have on your mind, because what we're going to do is we're also going to cover that in the clarifying. So if you focus on that at the moment, and then what we're going to do is just pull a couple of cards here for that. Okay, and then we will give you some insight on that direct question in the extended reading. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some cards out to clarify this reading for you. Five of Pentacles bringing in the moon energy, of course, the card of Pisces as well, but definitely I think some of the feelings that you're going to be experiencing through that retrograde. Chariot, your card with the World here. This is where this is the power source. This is the power seat in your reading, and this is where I really see that you're standing. It's just that the moon may make you feel at times that you're nowhere near that, but when that haze clears, when the confusion passes through, you're going to realize, Knight of Pentacles, that there's work to do and you're ready for it. Knight of Pentacles, you could also be dealing with a earth sign perhaps, where there's been some sense of loss, a Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus. Perhaps for some of you there's been some disappointment around work as well, particularly. Ace of Pentacles with Ace of Wands, but there is a renewal energy and a change in circumstances coming for you. We'll explore that a bit more in the extended. King of Pentacles, yeah, definitely an earth sign I think for some of you. What has that been representing? Six of Swords with the Three of Swords. Again, it's this reminder that you are moving away from this emotional wound time. King of Swords. Another air sign here. Seven of Swords going on. Maybe some of you have got or has experienced some trust issues there. Take a look at that. Temperance coming in with the Hanged Man. Beautiful. Very healing energy coming through there. Queen of Wands. Lovely. Six of Cups. Seven of Wands with Seven of Swords. Okay. You're really not interested in going back to anything that hasn't proved itself. The Magician. You're going to make a change. You're going to make an adjustment before you will consider it. Knight of Wands coming in with self-love. All right. Three of Pentacles with the Peregrine Falcon. Okay, Cancer. If you'd like to join me, I look forward to going into this in a bit more detail and pulling out some additional messages for you. Otherwise, have a beautiful month of March, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.